Hey, what's up? I'm Colleen, and thanks for joining me where we talk about everything paranormal. I hope you guys are having a great start to your day. So, for today's video, I thought I would talk about haunted attractions at theme parks. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love theme parks. I actually grew up not far from a theme park called Playland. It was about 10 to 15 minutes for me growing up. So we went there quite a lot in the summers. So it holds a sentimental place in my heart. It is like a little famous, I guess. There were some movies shot there, and Mariah Carey's infamous fantasy video was shot there. I am a huge fan of Mariah Carey, so that really excited me as a child. Playland really doesn't have like a haunted history. It's a pretty old amusement park. Actually, its infamous dragon coaster actually turned 95 this year. Um, Although it doesn't really have a haunted history from what I could find, it sadly does have some tragedy attached to it that is unfortunate. So I didn't include it in this video because there really wasn't any hauntings that I could find for it, but if you're ever in the New York area and you are interested in like an older, smaller amusement park, Playland is pretty interesting. I didn't make it there this year, which made me kind of sad. I made it to Playland Beach, but I didn't make it to the park, unfortunately. So for this video, I have 5 haunted attractions from around the US, different amusement parks that I wanted to talk about. I just find haunted attractions in amusement parks just interesting. There's always something eerie about, I guess, like amusement parks anyway, when they close down and like what goes on anyway. I think people always make up stories that like the rides take a whole life of themselves when the park shuts down. So then when you find out that there's like lore and hauntings attached to them, I think it just makes things really, really interesting. So I'm going to stop rambling and we're going to get into 5 different haunted attractions from 5 different amusement parks from around the country. Serengeti Overlook, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. The Serengeti Overlook, then known as the Old Swiss House, originally opened in 1964 as a Valentine's Day gift for the third wife of August Busch under the name the Old Swiss House. It closed in 1982 for refurbishment and didn't reopen until 1990, now renamed the Crown Colony House. It was when the restaurant reopened in 1990 that the first of the paranormal activity began. Employees reported experiencing cold spots, phantom piano music, and apparitions. One spirit occasionally seen is that of a little girl named Wendy. Sounds of children playing in the restaurant after hours isn't uncommon either. Another spirit seen is of a woman dressed in a white gown. One of Crown Colony's more chilling tales is of a man playing the piano who has only been seen through the reflection in the dining room windows. However, when people turn around, there is no one sitting at the bench. There is also said to be an old bartender and a woman. Over the years, employees have detailed the activity usually picks up around closing time, when they're shutting down, and that the 4th floor seems to be the most active. Numerous employees have felt a presence following them on the floor, and that the temperature inexplicably drops any time they press the elevator button to leave. Orbs, moving trees, and cigar smoke are also noted among the occurrences, some of which diners have also noticed. The Lighthouse, Hershey Park, Pennsylvania. On July 13, 1929, at Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, Milton Hershey opened a sprawling pool complex at his park that included a bathhouse, a beach area, and a lighthouse. The pools were closed in 1971 and filled in, but the Hershey Lighthouse remained, and with it, a few ghosts. Over the course of the 40-plus years the pool complex operated, multiple drownings occurred and are believed to be the source of the hauntings within the lighthouse. Apparitions of spirits wearing old-fashioned swimwear were spotted in and around the lighthouse up until 2019, when the structure was removed for the new Chocolatetown area to be built. For those looking to find out if the hauntings will still take place without the lighthouse, the Kisses Fountain underneath the Candemonium is the site where the lighthouse once stood for the 90 years of the park's run. Starlight Ballroom, Chippewa Lake Park. Lingering in Chippewa Lake Park, the Starlight Ballroom was the park's iconic dance hall that opened in 1920. It boasted A-listing bands from the Roaring Twenties to the rock-centric 70s before it closed with the park in 1978. After the park had closed, a few of the locals who lived in the park's cottages talked about hearing old big band music sourcing through the ballroom. One person said they wandered the abandoned park before finding it was indeed stemming from the empty starlight. Another described the phantom music as sounding in waves, the volume fluctuating between faint and loud. They also clarified that the music was circa 20s to the 40s and not modern day tunes whenever it was heard. The Starlight Ballroom stood in the abandoned amusement park from 1978 to 2002 when it succumbed to arson. Its remains have been residing in and haunting the park ever since. Crystal Gardens Ballroom, Cedar Point, Ohio. This ballroom resides on the second floor of the Midway Coliseum. The Crystal Gardens Ballroom opened in 1906 with a pavilion. It resides in and used to host all sorts of bands during its heyday. Evidently, some of the dancers never stopped dancing. Numerous accounts of cold spots, shadows, and spectral music haunt the dance hall. Some have said they've even seen the ghosts of dancers in the Coliseum's second floor, but catching a glimpse of the activity is for the select few, namely park employees, and anyone lucky during the special event hosted there. The Antique Carousel. Originally Cedar Point, now Dorney Park. Often referred to simply as Muller's military horse, this magnificent carousel horse, carved in 1917 by Daniel C. Muller, is known for more than simply showcasing Muller's fascination with Civil War and pre-World War II cavalry mounts. Rather, its real claim to fame is that it's often called the only haunted carousel horse in existence. The legend of the haunted steed seems to have gone through a few changes through the years, so here are a few of them. The Frontier Town Carousel was home to one of the most well-known hauntings in the park. According to legends, a ghostly woman could sometimes be encountered riding a military horse on a carousel located in Frontier Town before it was removed. Rumors claim that the woman was the wife of the man who carved the horses for the carousel. According to the legend, he discovered she was cheating on him with a jockey from the local horse track. Supposedly, he shot and killed both his wife and the jockey upon learning of their affair. Some versions of the legend claim that the builder hid his wife's remains inside the carousel horse and that she returns to ride the horse at midnight during each full moon. During special events where the park was open at midnight during a full moon, some riders have reported that they could feel the horse moving as they rode or that they exited the ride with a horse bite on their leg. While the carousel was still in the park, employees often reported hearing music from the carousel at night. Sometimes the carousel was observed spinning backwards, according to reports by employees. Some employees also reported leaving the carousel at night only to return in the morning to find the horses in different positions. Another version of this legend. Upon seeing her husband's creation, Mrs. Muller fell in love with the horse, so much so that after her death her ghost returned to Cedar Point Carousel to ride it. In fact, her love was so strong that her ghost would make it impossible for anyone to photograph the horse, lest someone else view it and fall in love with it. After the haunted Cedar Point Frontier Carousel was stripped of its black military horse, the carousel itself was relocated to Dorney Park in Pennsylvania in 1995, where it remains operational today. In 2021, the carousel celebrated its 100th anniversary. The black military horse is currently on display at Frontier Town Museum at Cedar Point. And legend says that apparently she still haunts both the carousel and the horse, even though they're both separated. So actually something really interesting about the antique carousel, we actually went to Dorney Park, my siblings and I, back in 2013, and I actually didn't know about the legend of the antique carousel, and we actually rode the antique carousel, and something really funny happened after we got off, although I don't think it's anything paranormal. It's just like a funny little antidote that I'm going to add to it. I had taken a few pictures. I had gotten a new phone about like a month before we went to Dorney Park, and I had taken a couple of pictures when we were there, you know, just because you do that kind of stuff. I had taken a few pictures while we were on the carousel just because it was fun and stuff like that. And don't you know, when I got off that carousel, my phone malfunctioned and it somehow went back to like the factory settings, and I had lost everything on that phone, and including all the pictures I had taken. I had uploaded a few actually onto Instagram, so I have, I think, like 3 pictures from that day, but everything else, including the ones I took from the carousel, are completely gone, and it happened right after I got off the carousel. I know it was nothing like paranormal or anything, but I just think it was really funny because there is that like lore attached to it that her ghost didn't allow people to take pictures of the horse, although the horse obviously wasn't there when we went, but I just thought that was really, really interesting and just a funny anecdote to share. I was really upset though because although I only had the phone for like a month, I had taken pictures of like my pets and stuff, and I had lost some of the pictures. Some of them, like I said, I had uploaded to Instagram, but still, that really made me mad. It was obviously just a glitch, but still it's a funny anecdote to add. So anyway, that's all I have for you on the haunted attractions. I definitely could do way more videos on this. I definitely want to cover a higher video on Cedar Point. There are so many. I mean, that whole theme park seems to be one big haunted attraction, so I definitely would like to devote a whole video just talking about Cedar Point. Let me know if you guys have ever been to any of these locations and if you've ever had any experiences at any of these locations. I would love to know. I love hearing your stories because all this stuff fascinates me, because obviously I love the paranormal, and although I am a healthy skeptic, I definitely have had experiences that I just cannot explain, and I love hearing everyone else's experiences as well. And also, if you've been to them and you haven't had any experiences, I also just love to hear that as well. So anyway, if you liked this video, please feel free to give it a like. If you really, really like this video, please feel free to subscribe. If you don't want to do either one of those things, that's totally fine. I won't be offended. Again, thanks for stopping by. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day, and don't forget to be you, do you, love you. Bye!